Josh and Frankie with a couple of dumb shits.
Hello, primates! Nope. Hello, primates! You found Primus tracks. Congratulations. Today we speak with Tim Curveball Wright, who drummed for Primus between 1986 and 1988 and appears on the Sucking Songs demo. Tim manned the drums as Primus slowly gained momentum in the Bay Area, but also started gigging throughout California. We delve into that time period, his interactions with numerous familiar names and bands, and the origins of his nickname and his own band that has a quite colorful history. Thanks again to Tim for speaking with us, and enjoy the talk.
Back in those days, yep.
Oh, damn, so you screened that one. That's excellent.
If it's one of the homemade 80s things, yep. Yeah, it's two colors. It sure looks familiar, yep. It does. It looks familiar, like, I know that.
Nice, man. It's held up, too. Whoever previously owned it took good care of it. But just like all those other t-shirts in the 80s, it's labeled as a large or an extra large or something, and it's pretty small now.
So I'm intrigued that you guys are fascinated by Primus early days, 80s. I think
we are so into primordial Primus, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea. I mean, I've got an idea. But that's pretty cool. So you guys are going to be the keepers of the history. Like, it's all in one place. You're gonna get it all in one place and chronologically organize it. So I get it. You're the right people to contribute to. That's what I think.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, man. That's what we're trying to do. Make this living document, put it out there for people.
Did you guys reach out to me a couple years ago? Some people from Europe said, "Hey, would you like to do our podcast?" I'm like, "You guys don't want to hear what I have to say." I hope I wasn't shining you guys. Was I shining you guys on?
No, that wasn't us.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll let it fly. I'll tell the whole thing.
Excellent. So what we'll do is, if you're game, we'll just throw some questions at you, and because there's some history out there, and maybe you can confirm some information that we have or think we have. Let it go, man. Tell us what you know, which is probably a lot because you've been around. You were around the scene for a while.
So Les and I were friends before I was in Primus, and then we were roommates, and we lived in a couple different places, and he was starting this band Primate, and before that, so he lived in El Sobrani. He goes, "Hey, Curveball." I wasn't Curveball at the time.
Okay.
I wasn't quite Curveball yet. I got this drum machine. Will you come over? I'd had a Lindrum, so I knew how to use it. So I went out to El Sobrani, and he had this little 4-track thing going, and he was trying to program some drum beats. So I go, "Yeah, you just go like this, and you put the hi-hat in." So I did 2 to 5 and some other early whatever the fuck's on his drum machine. And then, so we had met from a guy I worked with. Trows and I worked together.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this is like 1982 or 3. And then Les and Trows came from El Sab, and Les came into the world. Yeah. He was playing in a band with these still friends of mine today, Nicky Strons and Tommy Dryden. They were playing in this band with Peter was in and out of it before there was Primus.
Okay.
They had a rehearsal space at Emeryville Warehouse. So Les and I became roommates. Yep. And then Les goes, "Hey, you should go play with Nicky, blah, blah, blah." Okay, so I got in this band with Nicky, and then Les and Primus, it was Primate, and then it was Primus, shared the room. But we were roommates at the time, and he was playing in another band, and Peter was in the room, and some other Bean was playing with him for a bit.
Right.
Playing in the other band. And then Peter was out. So there's other stories. Let's see, probably a couple years with Peter, and we would go see Primus, and Peter sounded good. They were playing Tommy the Cat, and he was playing some other cool shit. He was like 11. Les and I were on the porch at the house, and he goes, "Curveball, how do you count this? What is this?" And he's playing this crazy bass part. I go, "Hold on, go slower." "Yeah, I think that's 11. So that's so pretty cool. So they were doing that in the Peter Libby era, those songs that I remember. And we were so as roommates and playing music and being down at the rehearsal space, we were around each other a lot. And so then, hey, you want to come play with Primus, blah, blah, blah. Sure. So we played, dude, you don't know how much work we did. We rehearsed 3 nights a week. We
Yeah.
were gigging. One year we gigged 50 shows that year and
Nice.
to build our own grassroots thing. And so
Yeah.
this is part of the history. So during that era, Bill Graham had locked up on the Bay Area that scene. If you were not one of his artists, you couldn't attract a record deal. And we tried and we tried and we made demo tapes and we shopped them and we shopped them on our own. And we're not going to get any help. So we're going to have to create our own grassroots thing. So we we made our own flyers and mailers and we mailed our little demo tapes that we recorded
Yeah.
to all the college radio stations and we'd get on these tours and we would do our own self promotion. We call the radio station, hey, you want to give away some Primus tickets to a show or come into your town? And we'd get in the van and we would go to LA or we would go up north, a whole bunch of going to LA. And now
Yeah.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fishbone were our peers
Yeah.
and Faith No More, and none of us had record deals. So we could fill a local club and they'd come up to the Bay Area and play with us. And these guys were young and raw, and like you're like, whoa, these guys rip.
Yeah.
Look at how heavy they are. They're loud and fast and hard. Fishbone and fucking so Fish is the drummer and Fishbone and Jack Irons and them and Chili's. We're all kind of galvanizing our identity and our sound and these songs in these earlier years, right? And Faith No More pops in. So like the Chili's were the first one after a couple of years to get a record deal. But of course, the record didn't do anything for like a year. It didn't do anything. And Primus couldn't get a record deal. So like I remember the day Smiley walks in. Hey,
Dave
you guys
Lefkowitz, yeah.
need some help? Like, yeah, well, you lick these stamps and here's how you fill out this envelope and you put this name on and you make a list and you call them next week and blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of tours in a van with those bands and all these numerous shows that had a number of things to talk about. Like going to LA. I didn't know who Rick Rubin was, but Smiley did. Yeah, we got to play this show. Now, it's a
Yeah.
pretty big local show. It's pretty big. It had like 7,000 kids. And
Whoa.
I don't know who Rick Rubin is or why it's important, but we got to wait to go on because he's not there yet. So Smiley pulls this whole charade, blah, blah, blah. That's one of the many stories. Or here's a really, really epic story. One tour in LA, we're playing a punk rock club called Al's Bar. And this club is so punk rock that it has 2 microphones, one for the singer, and one you got to decide is it going on the kick drum or the snare drum?
Oh, whoa.
One bare light bulb. And then it's a Sunday matinee with Faith No More. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Well, thousands and thousands of kids are coming to this venue, right? It's getting overrun in the outside down the block for as far as you can see, it's packed with these kids. Now, I'm like, wow, this is crazy heavy. So I got to get some air. It's too many people. In the street, the manhole cover lifts off and 50 urchins climb out of the sewer system of LA. I'm like, look at this, guys. You won't believe this shit. Did you see this shit? Unbelievable. So Primus tries to play, and the fire department shows up and it's a fire hazard. You got to vacate. So we're not going to stop. So they turn the power off to the club. I'm like, well, I still can play. So I'm still trying to play. Trials and Clem are running around trying to plug shit in, trying to find a way to get power going again. It was like, wow, this is out. This shit is out. And Puffy, after the show, so Puffy's sitting backstage. And do you guys know who that is? Mike Borden?
Mike Borden, yep. Faith No More, yep.
Legend. Yeah, he's a legend. So he just can sit there. His hands and every finger is taped up with this white tape, is all the way taped, and his fingers are all swollen. He's just staring at his hands while all this chaos is going, complete chaos and mayhem. sitting there staring at his fingers like I gotta play tomorrow. Fuck.
That was with Faith No More. That was a headlining gig for them at this place.
Or yeah, shit, I don't remember, dude. It might have
Yeah,
been co-headline. It could. We were lucky to. I think Faith No More came after Primus, so I don't know who had more
yeah,
draw. They didn't have a record deal, I don't think. Of course, I don't remember it. It had
yeah.
to be 1987.
Wow, because you guys, yeah, because Les, of course, in the book and all the different pieces of history talks about how he was playing to nobody essentially as Primate, but I think around the
first
time you
show,
joined the band, it
first show
really
had
starts
20
getting.
people.
Yeah, there you go. So he's playing to very few people. When you joined the band, it seems like the some momentum starts to build, but it certainly wasn't luck or anything. You guys were working your asses off.
Our asses off.
I'm I'm
Go ahead, Frank.
curious about the tapes, Tim. You mentioned the demo tape, so we know that you are on Sucking Songs, which has the baby on the cover, featuring Tommy the Cat, Sergeant Baker, Temporary Face, and 11. But there's a subsequent tape after that, which has a Skeeter on the artwork. Do you feature on that tape as well?
Dude, you know this history better than I do. I can't remember. But there was a Berkeley Square show tape that popped up from somewhere and it had all those songs, early shit. Lauren Miller was our sound guy. He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
Called him Dragon, or Les did called him Dragon Breath. He's a bad dude. And he recorded the board tapes. He was one of the best engineers ever. So there's a whole Berkeley Square show, and Les is singing shit like that. Do you know that one? Crazy.
Wow. So I am curious how you got into the scene, got into the drumming, and you talked about how you met Les. What got you into drumming yourself?
I started drumming at 8 because I saw Peter Erskine play, and I like freaked out and climbed up on stage and leaned against his kick drum. I was 8. So then he joined Weather Report, and I'm gonna grow up and be the drummer in Weather Report. And then yeah, I've been studying drums since I was little guy. So Les and I met when I was like 23 or something. 20, yeah, 2, 3, something like that. So I've been playing. I always played, I had a room to play in. That's all. Played in a lot of different bands and stuff. So
Yeah.
so let's talk about meeting those guys. So,
Yeah.
we're playing these shows and this group of guys came to one of the shows and they introduced themselves and they all had these crazy names. It was Brain, Merv, and House. And they're like, you guys have weird names too. That's crazy. So we met these guys and hung out with them. And the first time we went to one of the Limbo, so that's the Limbo Maniacs, right?
Yeah.
That's where we met Brain. We went down to their house down in the South Bay. Talk about out. It was like a skate punk thing going on. Somebody was riding a motocross bike through the living room, and Brain was lighting posters on the wall, like on fire. You're like, what's going on? These guys are really out. I like these guys. They're fun. So that's how we met the Limbos. And then, of course, do we play? Did the Limbos and Primus play a lot, a little? They were new, so they were later. Primus got our foothold playing with the Chili's and Fishbone
Hmm.
primarily. We kind of that bill. We did a lot of that. And so, all right. So I got another story. This is a famous story. So why do they? So people, hey, why do they call you Curveball? And I always go, well, that's a long story. And then there's a weird look on their face or something. So the story of that goes, so when Les and I are roommates, there's always like college girl neighbors around or something like that. And so I'm taking a shower and the shower curtain peels back and Les has got like 4 or 5 of the girls next door standing there. He's going, see, I told you his dick's curves to the left's got a curved cock. He's curved cock. Yeah, I tell you. And he's freaking out. I'm like, what is going on, Les? So of course I didn't like that. And the
Yeah.
more you don't like it, the more it becomes super glue, right? It becomes super glue about there's some nickname that Les coined.
Yeah.
So of course at the gig on stage, we're really laid back. Les stops the show. And he's talking about, hey, curve guy, why don't you show him the curve? So the crowd starts chanting, show him the curve, show us the curve, show us the curve. I'm there. I'm at a crux. Like, do I brush it off and like turn around and ignore this, or am I punk rock? I'm like, fuck it. So I strip naked. Fuck it. I'm naked or in my BVDs or some shit, and I'm playing drums like that. So that became like a thing. And so no, this is Les's wit. He goes, the song ends or whatever the fuck it he goes, rock out with your cock out. So the Chili's are probably watching this, and I think they ran with that whole shtick for the rest of their days. Rock out with your cock out became a Red Hot Chili Peppers thing. Then they put the tube socks on their dicks.
Right.
They're like, these Bay Area guys, they're fucking heavy. We gotta keep up with these guys. That's a pretty good story.
So we can trace that imagery back to you stripping down on stage.
Les causing this whole what is he causing this whole scene about?
Yeah.
Well, so there it is. It becomes super glue. Like so he coined flap and trows and smiley and curveball and that's
that is the thread because we talked to Dave Libby and he said, the more you fight it, the more it sticks to you, and the Trows nickname is well known as far as how he applied it to Chris Cuevas, who didn't appreciate it all that much, especially the little song that went with it.
It's about Flap's ears. Flap's ears used to stick out.
Yeah.
That's some fucked up shit. Let's come on, but now Flap is cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
nowadays we would call that body shaming.
Yes. That's all right.
When we got started here, you said that it was fascinating that we were interested in primordial Primus and 80s Primus. These are some of the reasons why, because there are so many things that are left to mystery, and it's really great to talk to venerable gents such as yourself who lived it, who can shed some light on just what in the hell was going on back then, because details have been slim for so long, and they're just now starting to make their way out for I guess public consumption, including even these demo tapes. Like we're hearing these older or original versions of these tunes, and they're fascinating, 40 years later or what have you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so there was always mystery around you, and I'm talking like in the 90s when I'm a teenager, just first getting on the internet and reading as much as I can about Primus. This is like 95. There was this name, Curveball. So I didn't, I knew that there was this guy named Curveball who drummed for Primus for a while. Didn't hear a lick of him playing drums until many, many years later, on a lot of really lousy quality recordings. So, but it's there, and you had a really cool style and approach to playing with Les that most subsequent drummers. The cool thing is every drummer did something different, and so when I heard your recordings with the band, I was like, "Damn, this is really different and really cool." What was do you recall at all your approach to working with Les, given that he is a pretty busy bass player?
Oh, that's a key question. That's a crazy question. So Les comes in with these one line. He's been working on a line. It's been stuck in his head. So he plays this line. And we were in this rehearsal space 3 nights a week and jamming some stuff. And now it's not hard for me to think of some accompaniment or vice versa. Like I can remember trying to play like Puffy, and like Puffy was beating the shit out of the toms, and I was playing a thing like that, and that became Sergeant Baker.
Yeah.
And blah blah blah. So these song ideas during that, like they're not completed. A song needs an intro and a bridge and an ending, and so we develop. So the songs that I remember being part of were like "You Like It," Sergeant Baker, Frizzle. What do you call that one at Barrington? What do we call that song?
Oh, Frizzle Fry, yeah.
Okay, that one, because I'll tell you about Barrington. Groundhog's Day. So over 2 years that I remember, it was 2 years. I really can't remember, you guys, but we wrote these songs. Les doesn't finish a song, but he'll go home, like we'll jam, and Todd is over in the other side of the room, like noodling on the neck of his fucking guitar. He doesn't even join in, and so me and Les get a thing going, and everybody had a cassette player, and he'd go home. and think about it some more. It's like Todd was playing to another band in another rehearsal room. And then he'd come back with this thing. You're like, oh wow, that's look at Todd go.
Yeah, yeah, because he had some out there stuff, and it's fascinating to
Totally.
hear his approach. And he had some really creative lines, but I agree. They sound like they might have been for for a different band or a different song, but it works.
Oh man, he is a unique genius. His brain works like that. He walks through the world like a different guy. He's a genius and a really warm, sweet guy. So Todd
Yeah,
is, yeah.
yeah, we had a great time talking to him, and then of course listening to Porch, which is pure Todd Huth. You really understand how his mind
You guys
works.
talk to Toddy. I'd like to. I'll have to go home and listen to that. That's cool.
Yeah, a great talk with
Toddy's
Todd.
yeah, that's a good guy.
Yeah, for
Cool.
sure. So it's interesting to know that tunes like July Kid, Frizzle Fry, and Groundhog started with you, because I don't think, as far as we know, Frizzle and Groundhog didn't make it to tape until the Sausage demo that we know of. Once again,
Yeah, and Herald of the Rocks, but it's on
yeah,
that Berkeley Square thing. You guys would have heard versions of those songs probably in '86 or '7.
I think those are floating around. Yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Oh,
Some
sure.
kid sent me a link to the Berkeley Square tape, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, great. Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
you put this, like, who has this tape? Where did this come from?
yeah. That's the other thing is where, where in the world do these things surface from? That's
The
always a
board tape. So Lauren would record with the board tape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, have you watched the primordial Sergeant Baker performance that is featured as an Easter egg in the Animals Should Not Try to Act Like People DVD that came out back in 2003?
So that was recorded. My buddy had the first video camera, like the first high def video camera, and that was a Commotion. And so he goes, "Hey, I'll shoot your show for you." So he recorded that. I'm wearing like a flannel shirt and shit. And what year was that? That was like the first VHS machine, you guys. I'm telling you right now. And his name is Mike Nolan, Big Mike. So the original. I have a version of that on VHS.
The,
That's
the full show?
yeah.
Oh,
Yep, I have that on.
incredible.
Oh
And
wow.
Trows and Amy, so our crew, they're in the video on the side, like they're running around moving people or gear and shit in the video. And you've
Amazing.
talked about Commotion and you know a little bit about that. That was the Looters Big Cities co-op community space, blah blah blah. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So should I talk about
There's still, going back to the tapes, Tim, there's still a lot of mystery shrouding these artifacts. Um, do you recall how much traction they generated back in the day when you guys were recording them and sending them out to radio stations and selling them at shows? Like, how much noise did these tapes actually make back when they were made? Were
well,
they
like the
actually?
video? No one ever got the video. We didn't have the money to produce copies of a VHS tape. I'm not sure what we like. We had to make more money to do
Oh,
something.
no, no. I mean the demo tapes.
So the demo tapes.
Yeah.
Well, so momentum is an invisible, mysterious thing. So you show up and you play and you think nothing's happening. And so here's how I see the timeline. So we kind of broke up. Les and I and Todd were like, "Oh, we're sick of this shit. We have killed ourselves. It's been like 8 years." Les is going. He's like, I'm just gonna quit. No more Primus. I go, well, at least keep the name of the band. So we're all gonna go our separate ways. And then Jay played a few shows for 6 months. He auditioned musicians and 2 months later recorded with Tim and Lur, and that sold 110,000. So the momentum to build that had to be percolating. Now, those guys, of course, played really great, and it was a great recording, and all of that part plays into it. But there had to be momentum behind the scene. Even before I joined the band, they had a little local following and it was a thing already. It wasn't like we had to start from scratch. Peter and Todd and Les had already put in some work and wrote sets of songs and got comfortable on stage and got an identity. So it's all momentum. It all has part, you know what I mean?
what songs did you enjoy playing the most,
Oh
or
yeah.
which songs do you have recollection of playing
Whole
on
lot of
stage?
Rosies. I don't know, shit like that. I don't know.
You certainly had a sense of groove then for sure. And did you see that through in subsequent drumming gigs? Like was that kind of your signature style?
Maybe, maybe, sure. Shit, I don't know.
It's all right not to know. Uh, I did want to ask because there was this website in the 90s. It's still active. It's a legacy website run by a guy named Ram who put together a Primus family tree with the help of guys like Smiley and House.
How
And
came up with all that mess. It's nearly accurate. It's almost accurate. Pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, I was curious about that because there's a lot of info about your band Curveball and a lot of the guys that you played with, and they're all really familiar names like Jeff Combs and I think Pete Scaturo was in there somewhere. So a lot of these guys, and Kehoe, and Brain, of course. So a lot of these guys whose names we know and who we've talked to, you were working with them. Can you tell us about the band Curveball?
Okay, the short. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll try to make it short. So after Primus, I'm like, we have to do something. So I got a rehearsal space and I go, Keo. So Keo and I were supposed to start a band together. So for like a year, we go to a rehearsal room and we just fucking drink beer and fucking hold our dick. Nothing's happening. Come on, Brian. So, so because nothing has happened for a year and I'm paying the stupid rent, I book a gig. I book a gig. I go, hey, we got a gig. They're all of a sudden they get sober. Oh shit, we better learn something. We better do something. So what do we got to call it? Brian's like, what are we going to call it? This is funny. I go, how about he came up with fatty lipoma? I'm like, fine, that's whatever. That's punk rock. And then he goes, no, wait a minute. They'll think it's a boil on my ass. So fuck it. Let's call it curveball. I'm like, I don't care. So we do, I'm the drummer. The singer from the smoking section, a really talented guy, was supposed to sing. And we're going to play covers because that's all we could get together. We're going to play covers.
Okay.
The singer doesn't show up to the gig. I'm like, fuck. And we got a couple hundred people at the night break. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll sing and play drums. I didn't think it was a big deal. We got to put on a show because people came all the way out to see. So then the next show, so I'm like, well, it's so much easier to get a drummer than a singer. So I called Jay. So Jay's like, sure. So Jay comes and plays, and I'm going to sing. It's just supposed to be punk rock. It's supposed to be funny and silly. And I'm wearing a Sly Stone like costume. Well, things change and move along, and then it's to keep busy. It's to keep out there and playing. That's all it really was. Then then the Limbo guys got on board House and Brain, and Adrian Isabel on percussion, a super bad dude. And it grows, and it's Keo still, and we have horns, and now there's 13 members, and then I
Whoa.
add singers, and it becomes this huge thing, and it gets better and better. It got more traction faster. Curveball grew rapidly. It grew to the point where we played with the Rolling Stones. It's no joke.
Wow.
Wow.
Over
Wow.
10 years, it was unfucking believable. So I'm standing
Amazing.
up singing, and I'm like, I'm not the singer. I want to play drums. So it had a run, and it had killer musicians. It had Orion and Gomes then ripping. And Orion is a savant, and he's a really, really talented, special guy. Still one of my close friends today. That dude is special. Do you know who Orion is from Fungo? The bass player in Fungo.
Okay, Fungo. Yes.
And Gomes was the drummer. So they were Curveball's rhythm section for couple years after the Limbo guys. And then came a drummer named Michael Urbano
Mhm.
from, you
Yeah.
know who Urbano is?
He eventually
Beanpole
was Spent Poets.
and Spent Poets. Yeah, he
And
was
he
in Spent
recorded
Poets
on Third Eye Blind because, so I
and
have a
Smash
Third Eye
Mouth.
Blind connection. So that was Curveball did a lot of shit. I mean, we played with Eddie Money and Boz Scaggs and the Stones. We played at this private party for the Rolling Stones. They hired us to be the entertainment. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
No
So
way.
we played two sets. I got to tell you this part stuff. So we take a set break at the Warfield, super, super security. NDAs and stuff. No one's supposed to know because the streets would get mobbed if they knew the Rolling Stones were inside. So there's a set break, and I go up to the bar up through the aisles of the Warfield, and there's Mick Jagger sitting with his like then 18-year-old daughter in the aisle, and she's bumping her dad, pointing at me. There's that singer guy, in my head nearly exploded. I'm like, your dad is fucking Mick Jagger. You got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Holy shit. So we play another set, and then Keith Richards is standing up against the stage with his lighter going back and forth. So Ron Woods jumps on the stage, and Keith Richards and Zig Modalist and all the, they had 7,000 super famous musicians at this show, private, and they were all on stage, and we jammed until 5 a.m. And so a jam needs someone to lead it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta do it. I gotta like tell him I'm breaking down like Ron Wood and Wendy from Prince and stuff like that. I'm like, this shit is way heavy. It was really a thing. So that was one moment. That was a moment. That was a curveball moment.
That is a moment for sure.
Incredible.
Oh, okay. So the end of the night. So my twin brother, I'm a twin. He's a really great singer, and he was the singer in Curveball. There was 3 or 4 singers. So we're standing there, and the curtain breaks open, and there's Wendy Malvione with her sister Susanna standing there, a foot from me and my twin brother. And you know who these girls are? You know who they are? Susanna was engaged to Prince, and he wrote the song "Nothing Compares to You" about Susanna Melvion, and her twin sister Wendy, who was the guitar player all through the Revolution, the first.
Gotcha. Okay, I know Wendy. Yes.
Man, is she badass? Now I'm starstruck because it's Wendy, and they're not saying anything. They're standing there across from my brother and I, a foot away, and I go, so I don't know. I'm being sarcastic, so I go, twins, and I point like we're gonna have a twin hookup. Wendy got so mad and she fucking stormed off. I was just fucking around. I was just teasing to see if she had any sarcasm in her. But I regret not having the moment to go, no, I'm just playing around. Please. I admire you so much in your playing in your career. But that was the end of that story.
Oops. Sometimes you step in it.
Yeah. Curveball steps in it for sure.
Wow. So I was, of course, aware of the band Curveball and many of the members whose names were familiar to me just from talking to people about the scene back then, and of course the success of other bands like Spent Poets and Merv and all these guys. Didn't realize you were playing private parties for the Stones and opening for folks like Boz Scaggs, which is and Eddie Money, which is friggin' wild to me. So you guys certainly had a good run there. How long did that run? How long did you maintain that?
10 years.
10 years?
I did that for 10 years because it kept the lights on and the rent paid type shit. While playing, I'll tell you that the other bands. So Brain was really good to me and a good friend of mine. He would always like, I can't do it, call Curve. Or when Brain would leave a gig, he'd have to go to something else. Get Curve to do it. So he got me in a band with Joe Gore and Robin after him, and we played. And Joe Gore would get so into his solos, he fell backwards over all my drums, and they fell to the ground. And then he got me a tour in Europe. And then, let's see, what other bands? Oh, MCM and the Monster. So he was the drummer in MCM and the Monster, and then I became the drummer in MCM and the Monster for a couple of years. House and I did that. And we made a dope record. You guys should get that record. Super good. Convertible Turtle. I like that record.
I know the name. Yeah, I haven't hunted that one down yet. Thank you for that reminder.
That record's good. It slams. It's like pop punk. It's the original pop punk thing.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that Brain was that you and Brain were so hooked in like that. That's great.
He's a dude. He's my friend. So we're peers and friends, and we play together, like with Jay. In the community, we're hang and we play on the same show, and we go to clubs and look at other shows. So how did the Limbo Maniacs come about? Like, so someone goes like, Smiley, hey, this band from DC's coming. They're playing this shit called Go Go. We got to go to the I-Beam and see them. And we all, we move as a posse, and Trouble Funk played. And again, our heads came completely off, and the Limbos went and put a go-go band together, and they called it the Limbo Maniacs, and so that was the start of that. But so we're all really old friends. Like Brain used to give me clothes and drums. I got Brain's snare drum. We were young kids, and he'd like to skate. Like one Brain story. So Primus, when Primus got back together with Tim and the band, they went and played in New York City at the New Music Seminar. So we all just, let's go to New York. So the whole posse, me and Clem and Rock and Charles and all of us go and support Primus, because still Primus was new and didn't have a Caroline. They had a little bitty deal. And Brain and the Limbo guys were there. We walked through Manhattan for an entire day from one end to the other. And Brain wanted to go in every leather shop. We got to go find a leather. I got to get a leather G-string. We got to go in here. I heard, so this is a leather. We went in a leather bar and the strippers are dancing on the bar. And Brain's, well, how do I get a leather G-string? Let's go on. Shit like that. It's the Brain story. He wanted to be he wanted to be Baby Snakes. You know, the Zappa record with Bozio playing the solos in this little, that's what he wanted to be that day. So that was a Brain story.
That's great. That seems like a Brain thing, based on when we've talked to him and just some of his antics.
He's fun. And Bucket showed up on the scene. Bucket was a big Curveball fan because like he loved Michael Jackson, and we used to I could sing Michael Jackson. It sounded like Michael Jackson.
Dang. Yeah, you guys were playing a lot of funk and R&B, right?
Yep, all the funk. And I think this inspiration, Les and I used to talk, let's do a cover band and play Isley Brothers songs. Well, I went and did it, because, got to do something. So, yeah, and then we played James Brown and Earth, Wind and Fire and blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
but I could sing like the Jackson 5, and that was a big deal. People like their eyes popped out. Wow, that sounds like Michael Jackson. So Bucket he was in awe. He was a young guy. He wasn't Bucket really. They had the Deli Creeps. He wasn't really Buckethead. He was a young guy, was hanging out, wanted to hang out and see us guys. He's so humble and nice, super nice guy.
Wow. You have said so many great and familiar names, and this is it. Like, this is why I'm so interested at this time, because in 1987, I don't know if there was any expectation that anybody was actually going to go anywhere and make a true career out of music and performance, but you guys were all young and had boundless energy, and you were going for it regardless, it seemed.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you keep plowing ahead, and then you never know what could happen. You know what I mean? You never know. No one knew that Primus would still be relevant 40 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What if the band was Poison or Quiet Riot and it was some hair band and it meant everything in the 80s, and now today you're like, ooh, that's kind of like, I'm glad I'm not related to Poison. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I'd be doing a Poison podcast if that were the case, right? Yeah.
Right.
Tim, I was wondering, what is your opinion about the Sausage record Riddles Are About Tonight, which are essentially re-recordings of many songs that you used to perform when you were in Primus?
Was that with Tim playing them?
No, that was with Jay Lane and Todd Huth. It came out in 1994.
I never heard it. I never listened to it.
Really?
Yeah. Will you share it?
It would be quite a revelation if you heard it. Yeah.
Jay's the dude. Jay is the fucking dude. That's a loyal friend. He's a good dude to me. He's always like super cool. So Jay was next door. He's down the hall in this rehearsal room, and he'd come over and he would show me how to, hey, I'm playing this Peter Erskine group. Check this out. Or 7/7. Jay showed me how to play 7/7 9311. I'm like, that's
wow.
So, yeah. So we all grew up together. We grew up together and supported. The cool thing is there wasn't weird competition. We all supported each other. There was no like, hey, I'm better than Top Brain or Peter. No, none of that. We're all like, go, man. That sounds cool. That sounds great. I liked the way you did that. And so we could all hang and support each other and share gigs. Man, we shared gigs.
That's really amazing that Jay taught you how to play that, because he's still doing that nowadays.
I'm still doing it. I still try to do it. It's hard. He showed me the subtleties to 7/7. He goes, check this curve, check this out.
And that's still a barometer for Les. I don't know if you saw the
All
drum
that.
audition videos, but there were a couple of guys that busted out 777.
I like that guy. He's a good drummer. I was thinking I'd like to see him in Primus. That what's his name? Grooveman.
Oh, Groveman, yes, he was amazing.
He's good. I really like him.
Yeah, he was great. That was that episode was hilarious too. That guy can play. Oh my gosh, he's cool. So that feeling of camaraderie and that sense of community certainly comes to life when you're telling these stories, but also in the cross pollination, because there were so many different bands, so many lineups. Lefkowitz told us about all the rent bands that the Limbos had. You know, they're playing under different names at all the same clubs, so they can actually play. And you know, then there's all these goofball things like Turd Boy that I'm still somewhat unclear on, but there's there are just all these great names to these acts, and it's it's kind of like a grab bag from all these names, just getting together and doing something fun. And I think that is, if I was going to distill it down to something, it does seem like it was the camaraderie and the creativity that really made that a burgeoning scene in the 80s and sent a bunch of record executives there looking for talent, I suppose.
Yeah, it was probably a scene like no other. It really was the most fertile because everybody in another band would come to your gig and support your band just to see what you were doing. And so the clubs were half full of other musicians. It was really a supportive, unbelievable music scene. It was really, really great.
And it
But
seemed like you guys also were able to move between groups and genres and what have you really, really well, especially in Primus, but certainly the Limbos and all those guys. It seemed like you could, because you could open for Fishbone and the Peppers, but I know Primus opened for a lot of thrash bands every once in a while, and you guys were able to really move in between scenes, and I think that helped create the diverse following that a lot of you guys picked up.
that's probably a good point. I hadn't thought of that. That's probably very true. But like, it used to blow my mind that they're thrashing to Primus. I'm like, that's dope because that was a new idea. This guy I know, he takes responsibility for teaching people how to mosh in a circle. Go in a circle, because we would tell them they're all banging heads. Go in a fucking circle, you dumb idiot clowns. Go in a circle. You're all gonna bash each other. So this whole idea, man, because Fishbone could fucking stage dive and mosh. They really ripped. These guys fucking ripped. So thrash, the whole. Do you know that the Bay Area is given? They are given the credit for this genre called thrash because, and there's a really cool documentary on YouTube about it, where we have the Bay Area invented thrash metal, thrash funk, and these terms were coined by a music editor from our paper. Like if you were had a show, it had the Sunday paper had this music section. So this guy, they kind of coined it, and we all blended together. So there's this really cool idea about the Bay Area was harder, louder, faster, tougher, and the metal guys are talking about no posers,
Yeah.
no sissies and shit like that. They'd get thrashed, or if you had weird hair, if you had fucking hairspray, they'd get thrashed.
That's
So
what, yeah.
that's the Bay Area thrash.
I remember seeing that in Murder in the Front Row, that they even, like, the Bay Area Thrashers got Slayer to take their makeup off because Slayer had just come up from LA and they were kind of dipping into the glam side of things, and all the leather jacket guys at Ruthie's turned their backs on Slayer, and then
Wow, that's
the,
right. At Ruthie's, there you go.
yeah.
Good story. I like that. That's really good.
Yeah, and you've tossed out a bunch of venues that are long gone, but certainly legendary in Primus and Bay Area history. The I Beam, the Night Break, Berkeley Square, Mabuhay Gardens comes up every once in a while. So I know the names. Obviously, never got to go to shows there, but was it as sweaty as it was? As it's been told to us over the years?
Oh, for real. You know how many punk rock clubs you've been in? It smells like old beer and vomit and stuff. And cigarette smoke. So yeah, that's a punk rock club. And it fits 300 in there or something like that. Yeah.
So you were living in those for a while, essentially, playing
50
so many gigs.
shows a year, bruh. That's a lot of going at like every night. So let me tell you about how like the night like what Herald of the Rocks or so I was there like finally Trows and them show back up. Where the fuck's Trows been? He's got this guy green sleeves and they're in my house like we're hanging out and we're sun tanning on the roof. And then Les writes a song about it, about Herald of the Rocks. You're like, wow, okay. Or Barrington. Man, Barrington is that's a deep one. Acid parties, bruh. That
Yeah.
was acid punch. So in the basement, so Barrington was this co-op at UC Berkeley, and it looked like a New York City subway thing. It was graffitied out because they let all the homeless and weirdos and freaks stay there. There was no like security. So
Right.
it was like, oh wow, this is like being in a New York subway. Crazy town. And you don't know what you're walking into. We just know that they have these gigs. We're gonna play in the basement for their punch parties. So I mean, yeah, sure, we were not afraid of acid or mushrooms or doing some stuff like that. So we don't shy away from that. So we go there and we're wandering around the halls, and these people are melting on acid in different states. One guy is wearing a psych uniform, like all orange jumpsuit, and he has a ferret running around inside his suit, and he's talking to himself, and it's super packed and crowded with freaks. So you go play, you get downstairs, and they're serving punch. I probably had the punch, sure. And then we start playing, and the freaks so it acid is different kinds of acid. So these guys were a little on the dark side and they were like melting and they're trying to come up on stage and take our instruments from us. And they're going like and they're telling Todd, "No, it's okay. I got this." Trying to pull the guitar out of his hands and shit. And Trows is like freaking Mr. Bouncer. He's throwing two guys off one side and three more come on the other side. He's going bananas trying to keep the freaks off stage. So we're just trying to play a set. And then I think kids died that night. And that was the end of Barrington because people, for whatever reason, I don't know exactly what happened. And so but the scene, so trying to capture the vibe, I described it as it's like a homeless encampment under the freeway kind of vibe. Everyone was freaking out in a unique, kind of dark and scary, mildly scary. It was out. We had to get the fuck out of there. It's time to go. We got to load up and get out. Let's go. And Les writes a badass. How witty is Les? He should write books. That guy can turn a phrase. He writes. He recaptures that, and that's all him. He came up with all that shit. But musically, I don't know if we jammed it and then he put those lyrics to it, or he came in. Usually, yeah. Usually we jam something and he would put his lyrics to it.
Okay. Yeah.
That was-
So it started with the music, and then he's adapting lyrics to the music.
yeah.
Okay.
That would be how it is. Yeah, there's some baseline he's about this week and developing some technique thing. And then we jam it, we flesh it out more, give it a bridge, and then he writes a whole lyrically song around it. Pretty good. Pretty good. Think
Yeah.
about
Pretty
think
good.
about think about Tommy the Cat. So that happened early. That was before me with Peter. Do you know how difficult it is to play that line, that ostinato on the bass, and talk freely?
Yeah,
Try
yeah.
it. Try to play your instrument and have a conversation. It's nearly impossible. So to divide that, I'm always impressed by that. Divide your brain in that kind of way is a real unique skill. And he was doing that early.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was at a slower pace than as was recorded on Sailing the Seas of Cheese, but got to be hard as hell no matter what tempo you're playing that at, because you have to, as you said, you have to concentrate on the bass part and your free verse reciting prose.
Yeah, that's a unique thing. And when he did that, and I watched Peter and them play it, I'm like, wow, that is something else. That's pretty good. Like the way he plays, everyone who tries to play like that, his cuticles used to be all split up because thrusts the top of his fingernails across the strings, and then he'd be my fucking my cuticles are all bleeding and shit. But that's a thing. Tommy the Cat was a thing.
Yeah, was that a fan favorite at the time? Was that one that got you guys some notoriety?
Are you kidding? Everything was a fan favorite, or we made it that one. I don't have any idea. Was there a fan favorite?
Tim, this might be a very long shot, but do the man with the pinstripe suit and March of the Leprechauns ring any bells for you?
I don't remember. Truth is, I don't remember. Was March of the Leprechaun some early shit, or was that after?
Early, very early.
Was it on his little demo tape that he made in his house on the four track?
It might have been, but it's not on the first tape. Based on our timeline, what we speculate is that it might have been on a tape that came out in between the first one from 84 and Welcome to This World in 85.
Oh. Shit, we didn't play it. We did not play those songs. He parked those.
That's all right. Todd has them. We know that.
Yeah.
One of these days, Frankie's going to break into his attic.
One of these days, yeah.
The Todd's attic?
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Okay, and see what he's got.
yeah.
Todd doesn't know what he has either. He's out. Todd's an out guy. He's like, I don't know.
So in 2025, being so far removed from this in a time sense, what are some of your takeaways of that era in the 80s and moving into the 90s? Clearly lifelong friendships and just rewarding experiences and some wild experiences. But what are some of your takeaways that were building blocks for your life, do you think?
Well, so one takeaway is you never know what is going to lead to anywhere. So just show up and do it. Throw it on the wall, get behind it, and don't like a number of guys broke up and started bands over and over again. They work really hard and then they quit and they start again. But Primus has kept it going and built this legacy attraction. Like one example of just trying shit was Third Eye Blind. So I get a phone call from a friend of mine who's a record producer. He says, "Hey, Curve, will you do me a favor? I got this guy. I promised I'd help him out. He's got this demo, and can you record some demos with him and stuff like that?" So I go, "Okay, yeah," because this guy's a heavy, cool guy. So I go meet this dude, and he's got this cassette tape of these fucking songs that sound like Simon and Garfunkel. It's like airy acoustic guitar shite. It's just shite. And so I meet in the rehearsal room, and these guys suck. So I go, tell you what, all you gotta go. I'm bringing in my bass player Orion, and I go, Orion, we gotta harden this guy up. Turn your shit up maximum. I'm gonna play as hard as I can. So the guy has to keep up on the microphone. He's barely ever held a microphone. Stephen Jenkins doesn't know what to do standing there. So we tuned him up and we put on some showcases for labels and stuff like that. And that became Third Eye Blind. Finished his songs, taught him how to hold a microphone, did the showcases, and look at the debut of Third Eye Blind. And the drummer was my friend who played in Curveball at the time. And now this guy, Steven, was a Curveball fan. He was a Primus fan, a Barry guy. He's around all the time. So there's just one example. And his debut record, what did that sell? Fucking A.
Oh yeah, that sold a lot. To further that, if I recall correctly, Semi-Charmed Kind of Life or Semi-Charmed Life, the big tune from that record, the lyrics were inspired by his experience with his friends doing meth at a Primus show.
Is that right? I
Yeah.
never got that link. I'll have to check that out. I, I'll listen to the lyrics closer. I never even listened to it. I used to play that shit. We had to turn those into songs. They weren't songs. They were fucking Simon and Garfunkel.
Wow.
So Ryan, that's Orion again and his genius. He's a bad dude.
Yeah, just showing up. I appreciate that sentiment because if you don't, nothing's gonna happen. And so, do you still keep up with a lot of those guys? I imagine.
Well, sure. I mean, we kind of grew up. It's not like we don't hang out and have dinner together,
Sure.
but we grew up together. So there's a camaraderie, like a family type shit, like Flap and Trows and Les and Smoke. We grew up together. So you cut your teeth. We were young people learning who we are, what we're about. Listen, if you after you're on stage and all these fucking shows, we experienced a lot of shit out on the streets So you shared a lot of experiences. Like, whoa, did we get out of that one alive? Fuck.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, there's stories. Too many.
Yeah, that's so it's akin as far as the connection I can make is, seeing my old college buddies, and we just pick up right where we left off, as if 20 years haven't gone by.
I think it feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I just want to say, Tim, thank you so much for making time for us for this chat. It was really fascinating, and it's really incredible to finally speak with Primus History in the flesh, which is you.
Right on. Now we're going to rely on you guys. Now you're the curators, so you're gluing it all together. There's going to be a Primus museum or something in Frankie's house. He's going to have.
Yeah.
Yes, he's working on it. He's actively working on it right now.
There you go.
The drywall goes up tomorrow, I think.
Right on.
Oh man, yeah, Tim, really cool to speak with you. Thank you for being game. It's always great to talk to anybody who has been in and around Primus, and of course, you played a pivotal role in the band gaining traction and moving along on its way. And if you weren't a part of it, I might not know who they are at this point. So, thanks, man.
Thank you, bro. That's a nice thing to say. Right on, Frankie. Nice meeting you too.
Nice meeting you, Tim.